Hello friends. Let's talk about Scorpios. You know, the Zodiac's most infamous lovers, the mysterious, passionate, emotionally intense water sign that's ruled by Pluto, god of the underworld and keeper of secrets. When it comes to sex, Scorpio doesn't play. This sign isn't just about passion, it's about transformation. Deep, consuming, soul-bonding experiences. Scorpio isn't here for casual. Even if it seems casual. Trust me, it's never casual for them. But what happens when Scorpio meets the other signs of the zodiac in the bedroom? Who can match that raw energy? Who can't handle the heat? Who brings out Scorpio's wild side, and who triggers their jealousy, their control issues, or even their deep longing for intimacy? Let's go deep, and I mean Scorpio deep, into how this enigmatic sign connects sexually with all 12 signs of the zodiac. Scorpio plus Aries. This isn't your average love match, it's a full-blown cosmic collision. Scorpio and Aries together are like striking a match in a room full of gasoline. The attraction is immediate, intense, and completely undeniable. But it's not just chemistry, it's combustion. Aries is bold, impulsive, and driven by raw desire. Scorpio is deep, strategic, and obsessed with emotional intensity. Together, they spark a fire that could either light up the universe or burn it all to the ground. They're both strong-willed, stubborn, and fiercely independent. Aries is a warrior, always ready to charge ahead and conquer. Scorpio is a tactician, secretive, deliberate, and not afraid to play the long game. Aries says what they think in the moment. Scorpio says nothing but thinks everything. And that's where the tension begins. It's a tug-of-war between fire and water, impulse and intuition, chaos and control. They push each other's buttons constantly, but weirdly, that's part of the attraction. Aries is fascinated by Scorpio's mystery, their depth, their ability to read a room, or a soul, with laser precision. Scorpio is both irritated and intrigued by Aries' lack of filter, their confidence, their "I don't care, I'll do it anyway" attitude. It's frustrating. It's magnetic. It's irresistible. When it comes to passion, this pair doesn't play. The sexual tension is off the charts. Aries brings an aggressive, primal heat that Scorpio secretly craves. Scorpio brings intensity, emotional charge, and erotic nuance that Aries didn't even know they needed. Every encounter is an explosion. Every kiss feels like a dare. And every argument? It might end with furniture moved, walls shaken, and a bedroom door slammed, only to be reopened moments later for round 2. But the same intensity that fuels their chemistry can also tear them apart. Both signs want control. Both hate backing down. Power struggles are inevitable. Scorpio might hold a grudge for weeks. Aries forgets the fight 5 minutes later, but wonders why Scorpio's gone cold. It can feel like emotional whiplash. Still, if they learn to respect each other's differences, if Aries can slow down enough to swim in Scorpio's emotional depths, and Scorpio can loosen their grip just enough to let Aries lead sometimes, then this can be more than a wild fling. It can be a passionate, transformative partnership that breaks all the rules and redefines loyalty, intensity, and love itself. When Scorpio and Aries align, it's like turning chaos into art. A beautiful storm. A dangerous high. And if they survive it, they don't just fall in love, they rise in it, like phoenixes from the fire. Scorpio plus Taurus. Slow, sultry, and soul-shaking, Scorpio and Taurus are what happens when emotional intensity meets sensual grounding. These two signs sit directly across from each other in the zodiac, and that opposition creates one of the most powerful pairings out there. They're different, yes, but in a way that's undeniably magnetic. Like yin and yang. Like a velvet glove wrapped around a hidden blade. Taurus is all about the physical world, touch, taste, comfort, stability. They want to build a life, not just live it. Scorpio, on the other hand, lives in the emotional underworld, always seeking transformation, craving truth, and needing connection that cuts through surface-level fluff. Where Taurus is calm and steady, Scorpio is deep and mysterious. But here's the magic, they balance each other out in ways that feel fated. Scorpio feels safe with Taurus's unwavering loyalty. In a world full of facades and betrayals, Taurus is the solid ground they can stand on. And Taurus, often guarded with their emotions, is drawn to the raw honesty of Scorpio's gaze. No one looks at them the way Scorpio does, like they're a mystery worth solving, like they're worth unraveling slowly. In love and in bed, this pairing is next level. Taurus takes their time, savors every touch, every sigh, every moment. Scorpio intensifies it, turning every glance into a message, every silence into suspense. Their intimacy is not rushed. It's choreographed like a slow-burning play, where the tension is as powerful as the release. They don't just hook up, they merge. Mind, body, and soul. Trust, though, is everything. Scorpio needs full honesty, full commitment. Taurus doesn't open up to just anyone. So they dance around each other at first, testing the waters, looking for cracks. But once they commit, it's unshakable. This is the kind of love that grows roots. That lasts through storms. That knows how to weather change without breaking. However, if that trust is broken, just once, it's game over. Taurus might never speak of it again, but they'll never forget. Scorpio will sense the shift, feel the cold, and either explode or disappear. There's no faking it here. No forgiveness for betrayal. The bond is too deep for surface-level repairs. Yet, when it's good, it's life-changing. Taurus helps Scorpio feel safe enough to soften, to show vulnerability without fear. Scorpio brings Taurus out of their comfort zone, adding passion, mystery, and transformation to a life that might otherwise play it too safe. They push each other to grow, not through drama, but through intensity, loyalty, and connection. This is not a fast burn. It's a legacy. A love that builds like a storm on the horizon, slow, steady, powerful, and then consumes everything in its path. In the best way. If Scorpio and Taurus are in sync, they don't just make love, they make history. Scorpio plus Gemini. This is where oil meets water, and tries to dance. Scorpio and Gemini couldn't be more different in how they move through life and love. Gemini is an air sign, curious, light-hearted, and endlessly fascinated by the new and the now. Scorpio is a water sign, emotional, focused, and intensely private. Gemini flits through ideas, people, and feelings like a butterfly in a garden. Scorpio wants to go underground and mine the truth of your soul. It's fast versus slow, surface versus depth, freedom versus fusion. The initial attraction. It's real. Scorpio is intrigued by Gemini's wit, charisma, and ability to make any room feel alive. Gemini, in turn, finds Scorpio's mysterious energy irresistible. They sense there's something deeper, and Gemini loves a good mystery, especially one wrapped in emotional silk. In the bedroom, this can make for an electrifying start. Gemini's playfulness meets Scorpio's magnetism, and sparks fly. There's experimentation, laughter, mind games, and a bit of intrigue. But over time, those sparks can turn to smoke if they're not careful. Scorpio needs emotional intensity and loyalty. They want to merge on a soul level, to know every corner of their partner's heart and never feel like they're being held at arm's length. Gemini, however, resists being pinned down. They thrive on independence, mental stimulation, and a certain level of detachment. To Scorpio, this can feel like emotional avoidance. To Gemini, Scorpio's intensity can feel like emotional suffocation. The struggle here lies in expectations. Scorpio is playing chess, thinking 10 emotional moves ahead, calculating every word, guarding vulnerability with armor. Gemini is playing tag, spontaneous, fast, fluid, never staying in one place or one emotion too long. Scorpio might see Gemini's flirtiness as disloyalty. Gemini might see Scorpio's depth as drama. One wants total immersion, the other wants to come up for air every few minutes. But, surprisingly, this can work, if and only if they meet each other halfway. If Gemini is willing to open up emotionally and not just intellectually, and if Scorpio learns to release their iron grip and trust without needing full control, then something beautiful can happen. Gemini can teach Scorpio to lighten up, to laugh more, to let go of past wounds. Scorpio can teach Gemini that depth doesn't mean danger, it means devotion. This is not an easy match, but it's one that could push both partners to grow in ways they never imagined. It requires radical honesty, patience, and a willingness to stretch into unfamiliar emotional terrain. If they find that rare middle ground, they become each other's greatest teachers. But if they don't, they'll speak two completely different love languages, and never translate. Scorpio plus Cancer. Now this is what emotional poetry looks like. Scorpio and Cancer, both water signs, speak the same intuitive, unspoken language. From the moment they meet, there's an undercurrent, a sense of familiarity, of home, of having known each other in another life. They don't just connect. They merge. And not in a fleeting, flirtatious way, but in a deep, soul-bonding, I see you in my dreams, kind of way. Cancer brings nurturing, softness, and a fierce loyalty that Scorpio instantly respects. Scorpio brings intensity, passion, and a protective energy that makes Cancer feel safe. Together, they create an emotional sanctuary. They're the kind of couple that can finish each other's sentences without even trying. Their connection feels psychic. No words needed, just glances, touches, and an ocean of unspoken emotion. In the bedroom, they don't just have sex, they make love in the most transformative way. Scorpio brings the fire, the seduction, the pull into emotional depths. Cancer brings tenderness, sensitivity, and a willingness to completely surrender. It's passionate and safe at the same time. Every moment is charged with emotion, and every night feels like a sacred ritual. They don't just touch skin, they touch each other's souls. But with all this depth comes risk. When two water signs come together, emotions can flood the relationship. They feel everything, sometimes too much. If one partner gets moody or insecure, the other absorbs it instantly. If Cancer withdraws into their shell, Scorpio might assume rejection and lash out. If Scorpio becomes too controlling or secretive, Cancer might become clingy or emotionally overwhelmed. The emotional current is strong, so strong, in fact, that it can become a whirlpool if they don't occasionally step back and come up for air. Still, when they're in sync, this match is almost untouchable. They build a world that's entirely their own, one of shared dreams, intense loyalty, and deep emotional understanding. Cancer teaches Scorpio that vulnerability is not weakness, it's strength. Scorpio shows Cancer that passion can be safe, that love can be fierce and protective without being possessive. This isn't a match that fizzles out. It's the kind that evolves over time, growing deeper, richer, and more layered with every shared moment. They might not be the loudest couple in the room, but they're the ones with the strongest emotional bond. Their love isn't just felt, it's lived. When Scorpio and Cancer unite, they become each other's anchor and their ocean. A connection that's tender, intense, and utterly unforgettable. Scorpio plus Leo. This match is bold, theatrical, and charged with power. Scorpio and Leo don't just walk into a relationship, they command it. Both are fixed signs, which means they're incredibly determined, deeply loyal, and just a tad stubborn, immovable when challenged. From the very beginning, sparks fly, whether it's from sizzling chemistry or clashing egos. There's no middle ground here. It's all passion, all drama, all the time. Leo, ruled by the sun, shines bright and unapologetically. They crave attention, admiration, and want to feel like the king or queen of their partner's world. Scorpio, ruled by Pluto, operates in shadows, mysterious, intense, and driven by emotional and sexual depth. Leo brings fire, flair, and a flair for romance. Scorpio brings smoldering energy, secrecy, and an unmatched craving for intimacy that goes beyond the surface. Together, it's hot, unpredictable, magnetic, and sometimes, explosive. These two approach love like a stage. Leo wants a spotlight, Scorpio wants total control of the lighting. Leo performs with grandeur, generous with affection and loud in their loyalty. Scorpio watches quietly, always analyzing, always waiting for proof that their trust has been earned. They both want devotion, but in very different ways. Leo wants to be worshipped. Scorpio wants to possess. Leo says, "Love me loudly." Scorpio says, "Love me privately, but completely." In the bedroom, their styles collide and combust. Leo is confident, playful, and open about their desires. They want praise, performance, and pleasure. Scorpio is seductive, emotionally charged, and hungry for vulnerability and power. They want surrender, emotional fusion, and that "I'm yours and only yours" type of connection. If they meet in the middle, their chemistry can be unmatched. But if Leo feels ignored or Scorpio feels disrespected, the bedroom can turn cold, fast. Jealousy is a major landmine in this pairing. Scorpio doesn't play when it comes to loyalty, they want exclusivity, emotional honesty, and deep connection. Leo is loyal too, but they thrive on social interaction and admiration. What feels like innocent fun to Leo can look like betrayal to Scorpio. And when Scorpio gets possessive or controlling, Leo's pride flares up. Cue thunderstorm-level arguments. But here's the twist: if they do manage to balance their strengths, they become an unstoppable force. Leo teaches Scorpio to come out of their emotional shadows and bask in the light of love without fear. Scorpio shows Leo that true passion isn't just about being seen, it's about being known. If they share the power rather than fight for it, they create a dynamic, passionate relationship that commands attention and refuses to fizzle out. At its best, this love is a power couple fantasy, two fierce souls standing tall, side by side. At its worst, it's a battle of wills that leaves both bruised. But one thing's for sure, it's never boring. Scorpio plus Virgo. This pairing is like finding treasure in a quiet forest, unexpected, refined, and deeply rewarding. Scorpio and Virgo might not seem like the hottest match on the surface, but what they lack in flash, they make up for in layers of rich, emotional, and sensual depth. Scorpio, the emotional alchemist, craves transformation and intimacy. Virgo, the meticulous earth sign, seeks precision, devotion, and practical magic. Together, they build a love that simmers slowly but never fades. At first glance, Virgo may seem too reserved for Scorpio's all-consuming passion. Virgo keeps their cards close, analyzing every detail, hesitant to trust quickly. Scorpio, in contrast, dives into relationships with intensity, craving full emotional transparency and control. But this contrast is exactly what makes their connection so compelling. Scorpio sees through Virgo's careful exterior and knows, instinctively, that there's so much more beneath the surface. And Virgo senses that Scorpio isn't dangerous, they're just unfiltered, raw, and real. Once trust is built, and it does take time, they create a dynamic that feels both grounding and exhilarating. Virgo loves that Scorpio is all in. There's no half-love here. No games. No distractions. Scorpio loves that Virgo notices everything, the smallest changes in mood, the little acts of love, the quiet sacrifices. Virgo's attention to detail becomes a love language that Scorpio feels deeply and appreciates more than they let on. Sexually, this is one of those slow burn turns into wildfire situations. Virgo isn't about flash, they're about quality, connection, and presence. Scorpio brings emotional depth, raw energy, and a desire to uncover every inch of their partner's mind and body. There's less theatrics and more intention. It's not about dominance or submission, it's about total trust, total awareness, and a kind of sacred eroticism that feels both sensual and spiritual. Communication here is subtle but powerful. Virgo communicates through actions, routines, and thoughtful gestures. Scorpio listens through emotional intuition. They may not always speak the same way, but they understand each other. When Scorpio is in turmoil, Virgo offers calm. When Virgo feels overwhelmed, Scorpio offers fierce protection. They become each other's soft place to land, and each other's secret strength. But challenges still exist. Scorpio can be too emotionally intense for Virgo's comfort at times, dragging them into emotional waters they didn't ask to swim in. Virgo can be overly critical or cold when they're overwhelmed, leaving Scorpio feeling unseen or unwanted. If Scorpio withdraws emotionally, Virgo might panic and retreat even further. But if they learn to voice their fears gently and stay grounded in their mutual respect, these two can weather anything. In the end, Scorpio and Virgo have the potential to create something rare, a love that feels rooted, private, and profound. Not everyone will see the depth of their bond, but that's fine with them. This is a love that grows in the quiet moments, deepens with time, and never stops evolving. It's sacred. It's steady. And for both of them, it just might be home. Scorpio plus Libra. This is the cosmic equivalent of silk and steel. Libra, ruled by Venus, floats through life in pursuit of harmony, beauty, and connection. Scorpio, ruled by Pluto and Mars, doesn't float, they dive. Into the dark. Into the real. Into the mess. When these two meet, it's a study in contrast. Libra smiles. Scorpio stares. Libra wants peace. Scorpio wants truth, even if it burns. And yet, they're drawn to each other like magnets from different worlds. Libra brings lightness, grace, and flirtatious charm. They know how to make people feel seen without demanding too much. Scorpio, on the other hand, brings emotional depth, mystery, and a brooding intensity that's hard to ignore. Libra is like a breath of fresh air in Scorpio's shadowy cave. And to Libra, Scorpio is intriguing, a puzzle with no instructions but endless rewards for those who dare to solve it. In the bedroom, this pairing is seductive, but in totally different flavors. Libra seduces with elegance, eye contact, and a perfectly timed smile. Scorpio seduces with silence, soul-stirring intensity, and the kind of touch that feels like it's reaching into your spirit. When the chemistry clicks, it's an intoxicating blend of romantic and raw. Libra keeps things beautiful, Scorpio keeps things meaningful. It's candlelight and thunder at the same time. But this connection doesn't come without friction. Libra thrives on balance, fairness, and diplomacy. They don't like mess, they don't want drama, and they absolutely hate emotional chaos. Enter Scorpio, who is practically born in emotional chaos and often creates more just by being themselves. Scorpio needs emotional fusion. They want the whole heart, not just the charming surface. And if Libra keeps things too casual or avoids emotional confrontation, Scorpio will sense it, and dig hard. Scorpio might view Libra's need for socializing, lightness, or flirting as superficial or even disloyal. Libra might see Scorpio's depth as darkness, their passion as pressure. What one sees as intense devotion, the other might experience as controlling or suffocating. That's where the breakdown begins, if they're not willing to lean into each other's worlds. But here's the upside, if they're willing to meet in the middle, this can be a relationship that opens both of them up. Libra teaches Scorpio how to soften, to step back, to enjoy beauty for beauty's sake. Scorpio teaches Libra that love isn't always about peace, it's about truth. They become each other's mirror and challenge. Their differences aren't flaws, they're potential doorways to a deeper kind of love. If they respect each other's needs, if Scorpio can ease up on control and Libra can get comfortable with emotional depth, this pairing becomes strangely addictive. Like a romance novel that keeps you turning the pages, unsure whether the couple will make it, but loving every second of the ride. Scorpio plus Scorpio. This isn't just a relationship. It's an initiation. Two Scorpios together is like twin flames meeting in the middle of a forest fire, beautiful, dangerous, and impossible to ignore. From the moment they lock eyes, the energy is magnetic. No one understands a Scorpio quite like another Scorpio. They share the same emotional language, the same hunger for intensity, loyalty, and soul-deep connection. But when two emotional powerhouses collide, expect fireworks, and not all of them are celebratory. They instantly recognize each other's depth. It's like looking in a mirror that reflects not just your face, but your wounds, desires, fears, and fantasies. They're not afraid to go there. In fact, they crave it. These two don't skim the surface, they dive straight into the abyss, hands locked, daring each other to let go. That kind of connection is rare. And when it works, it's transcendent. Sexually, this match is off the charts. We're talking intense, raw, and soul-shaking. It's not just about pleasure, it's about merging, transforming, losing, and finding themselves in each other. Every touch feels significant. Every glance carries meaning. It's psychic. It's primal. It's sacred. And it can be the most emotionally fulfilling sexual connection either of them has ever known. But, and this is a big one, the same intensity that fuels their passion can also ignite war. Both Scorpios want control. Both are fiercely private. Both struggle to fully trust. When one pulls back emotionally, the other senses it immediately and retaliates, sometimes subtly, sometimes with fire. Jealousy? Check. Power struggles? Absolutely. Silent treatments, emotional manipulation, unspoken expectations. All on the menu. If even one Scorpio in this relationship isn't emotionally evolved, it can spiral fast. The danger is that they both know how to cut deep, and when they're hurt, they don't always play fair. Scorpio doesn't lash out in anger. They wait. They calculate. They strike with precision. So when both partners have that capacity, the emotional warfare can be brutal. This is a match that requires radical honesty, emotional maturity, and constant self-awareness. Otherwise, the intensity that once bound them becomes the weapon that undoes them. And yet, when they do the work, when they learn to channel their emotional energy toward healing rather than destruction, this match becomes almost mythical. Two Scorpios can build a love that defies explanation. A bond so deep, so private, that no one else really understands it, and they don't care. It's sacred. It's sealed. It's theirs. This isn't a relationship you fall into. It's one you rise through. Together, they can tear down and rebuild each other, shedding layers of ego, fear, and past pain. It's not always easy, but it is always real. Divine union or total destruction? That depends entirely on how brave they are with each other, and with themselves. Because with two Scorpios, there is no middle. Only everything. Or nothing. Scorpio plus Sagittarius. This match is a high-speed chase between emotional gravity and pure wanderlust. On one side, you have Scorpio, intense, mysterious, and constantly searching for emotional truth. On the other, Sagittarius, spontaneous, freedom-loving, and perpetually chasing the next thrill. From the outside, it might look like fire and water couldn't possibly mix. But at first, oh, it's electric. Scorpio is drawn to Sagittarius's boldness. Sagittarius is captivated by Scorpio's depth. It's the classic case of opposites attract, until the differences demand to be dealt with. Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter, sees life as an open road. They crave experience, adventure, and freedom of movement, emotionally and physically. Scorpio, ruled by Pluto, sees love as a sacred bond, a transformative force that fuses two people into one powerful unit. Sagittarius flirts with possibility, Scorpio obsesses over meaning. It's like one is skydiving, and the other is trying to build a nest. In the early days, it's fun. Really fun. Sagittarius finds Scorpio's emotional intensity sexy and intriguing, like an exotic world they haven't explored yet. Scorpio gets intoxicated by Sagittarius's energy, charm, and fearlessness. The conversations are wild, the adventures unforgettable, and the sex full of curiosity, experimentation, and heat. Scorpio brings the raw magnetism, Sagittarius brings the unexpected. It's wild, bold, and full of "I've never done this before" moments. But as the honeymoon phase fades, the core conflict begins to surface. Scorpio wants emotional security, consistency, and intimacy that grows deeper with time. They want to merge mind, body, and soul. Sagittarius, on the other hand, needs space. They don't want to be caged, even by love. The more Scorpio leans in, the more Sagittarius may pull away. And the more Sagittarius wanders, the more Scorpio feels unsafe and tries to tighten their grip. Cue the cycle: chase, retreat, repeat. Trust becomes a battleground. Scorpio doesn't trust easily, and Sagittarius doesn't always communicate their intentions clearly. Not out of malice, but because they live in the moment. What feels spontaneous to Sag might feel flaky to Scorpio. And when Scorpio feels they can't rely on their partner emotionally, they may start testing, manipulating, or emotionally withdrawing. Sagittarius hates emotional games and may bolt at the first sign of drama. What Scorpio sees as intensity, Sagittarius may see as pressure. What Sag sees as independence, Scorpio might see as emotional abandonment. But there's potential if they're willing to grow. If Sagittarius can learn to slow down, stay present, and honor emotional vulnerability, they'll discover the beauty of commitment that doesn't feel like a trap. And if Scorpio can ease up, release control, and appreciate the joy of the journey, not just the destination, they'll learn that love doesn't have to hurt to be real. It's not an easy match, but it's not impossible. It just requires maturity, communication, and a lot of compromise. When it works, this pairing becomes a balance of light and shadow, laughter and depth. They challenge each other to stretch, to grow, to see the world, and themselves, in new ways. And while they may never speak the same emotional language fluently, they can learn each other's dialect. But for most, this one might burn bright, then fade fast, leaving behind one unforgettable story. Scorpio plus Capricorn. Now this is where power meets precision. Scorpio and Capricorn aren't the loudest duo in the zodiac, but make no mistake, they are one of the strongest. This pairing is all about quiet intensity, mutual ambition, and a kind of loyalty that feels carved in stone. From the outside, they might seem reserved or even cold. But behind closed doors, it's a smoldering, slow-building connection built on trust, depth, and shared purpose. Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, is structured, grounded, and incredibly strategic. They have big goals and a methodical plan to reach them. Scorpio, ruled by Pluto, is emotional, intuitive, and driven by transformation. While Capricorn is climbing the mountain, Scorpio is diving into the ocean, but both are going somewhere, and they respect that in each other. There's a silent understanding between these two: we don't waste time, we don't settle, and we don't play games. What makes this match so compelling is their emotional discipline. Neither sign gives their heart away easily. They observe, test, and take their time. But that slow start, it pays off. Because when Scorpio sees Capricorn's loyalty and quiet strength, trust starts to bloom. And when Capricorn sees Scorpio's emotional depth and unshakable passion, admiration follows. These two build a bond brick by brick, stable, intentional, and unbreakable. Sexually, they're a secret powerhouse. Capricorn may appear conservative at first, but they have a wild side that only comes out when they really trust someone. Scorpio is more than ready to explore that space with them. It's not flashy or chaotic, it's grounded, controlled, and surprisingly uninhibited. They don't need constant novelty to stay interested. What fuels their fire is knowing their partner is fully invested. It's the kind of connection that deepens every time they touch, like a private ritual no one else is allowed to witness. Together, they form a true partnership, emotionally, mentally, and often financially. Capricorn brings long-term vision, Scorpio brings transformative power. They're both incredibly protective of each other and will go to great lengths to ensure the other feels safe and respected. They don't just date, they build a legacy, a fortress, a future. But no relationship is without friction. Scorpio's emotional world can sometimes overwhelm Capricorn's need for order. And Capricorn's stoic exterior can frustrate Scorpio, who craves vulnerability and raw truth. Scorpio might accuse Capricorn of being emotionally unavailable. Capricorn might see Scorpio as too intense or dramatic. The key? Open, honest communication, and the understanding that not all passion has to look the same. When these two align, they're unstoppable. It's the kind of relationship that starts off quietly and ends up moving mountains. They don't need applause. They don't need external validation. All they need is each other, and the knowledge that they've found someone who matches their drive, their depth, and their desire to go all in. This isn't a whirlwind romance. It's a fortress of love, built to last. Scorpio plus Aquarius. This is not your typical love story. In fact, it barely qualifies as a story unless both people are willing to read from entirely different books and still meet in the middle. Scorpio and Aquarius are like night and lightning, one thrives in shadows and deep waters, the other dances in electricity and air. On paper, it's a mismatch. But in real life, it can be weirdly magnetic, for a while. Aquarius, ruled by Uranus and Saturn, is the visionary rebel of the Zodiac. Detached, forward-thinking, and wildly independent. They live in the realm of ideas, constantly scanning the horizon for the next innovation, the next movement, the next everything. Scorpio, ruled by Pluto and Mars, lives in the realm of emotion. They're all about intensity, transformation, and complete soul-bearing honesty. While Aquarius wants to understand humanity, Scorpio wants to understand you, deeply, completely, obsessively. From the jump, the chemistry can be intriguing. Scorpio is fascinated by Aquarius's unpredictability and refusal to be pinned down. Aquarius is curious about Scorpio's emotional magnetism and penetrating gaze. There's a mysterious push-pull that creates real sexual tension. In the bedroom, Aquarius brings an experimental, let's try anything once, vibe. Scorpio brings slow-burning, all-consuming intensity. When it works, it's like science meets sorcery. But then reality hits. Scorpio wants emotional presence, loyalty, and vulnerability. They want to merge. Aquarius? They want connection too, but with boundaries. They resist emotional heaviness and tend to intellectualize feelings rather than dive into them. This makes Scorpio feel dismissed, even betrayed. Meanwhile, Aquarius may start to feel boxed in by Scorpio's intensity, interpreting it as possessiveness or emotional pressure. And the more Scorpio clings, the more Aquarius distances. It's a cycle that spirals, fast. The way they fight is telling. Scorpio goes inward, brooding and analyzing. Aquarius goes cold, rationalizing and detaching. Scorpio wants to talk about feelings. Aquarius wants to talk about logic. One brings a dagger of emotional truth, the other brings a whiteboard diagram of relationship dynamics. It's not that they don't care, it's that they express care in completely different languages. Still, there's potential, but only if both are emotionally mature and willing to evolve. Scorpio needs to give Aquarius room to breathe without interpreting distance as rejection. Aquarius needs to meet Scorpio halfway emotionally, even if it feels uncomfortable. The key word here is acceptance. They won't change each other. But if they respect their differences and lean into the oddity of the connection, they might just unlock something brilliant and bizarre. Long term, it's rare. But when it works, it becomes a bond unlike any other, where passion and intellect, instinct and innovation, collide in the most unconventional, unforgettable ways. The challenge? They must learn to coexist without trying to convert. Scorpio must love Aquarius for being uncatchable. And Aquarius must love Scorpio for being unfathomable. If they can do that, it's no longer a mismatch. It's a revolution in love. Scorpio plus Pisces. This is the love story poets try to write but can never quite capture. Scorpio and Pisces are both water signs, and when they flow together, it feels like destiny. This match isn't just romantic, it's spiritual. Deep, soulful, and emotionally rich, it's like two old souls finding each other again in this lifetime. You don't just fall in love here, you drown in it, willingly. Pisces is dreamy, artistic, and endlessly compassionate. They see the world through a lens of possibility, beauty, and emotion. Scorpio, though just as emotional, moves through life with more caution, guarded, intense, and endlessly aware of their own vulnerability. Pisces floats. Scorpio dives. But they both crave something real. Something deep. Something that transcends small talk, surface-level romance, and performative affection. In bed, these two create something otherworldly. It's not just physical, it's emotional alchemy. Scorpio brings the magnetic, unrelenting passion. Pisces brings fantasy, tenderness, and a kind of cosmic connection that makes the whole world disappear. This isn't just sex, it's surrender. A shared space where trust is implicit, where vulnerability becomes an aphrodisiac, and where time seems to melt. It's sacred, safe, and seriously steamy. But beyond the sexual harmony lies something even more rare, emotional telepathy. These two can often feel each other's moods without saying a word. Scorpio feels seen by Pisces in a way few other signs can offer. Pisces doesn't try to solve Scorpio, they simply hold space, which is exactly what Scorpio needs to feel safe enough to open up. And Pisces? They're drawn to Scorpio's strength and intensity, because it gives their boundless emotional energy a container. That said, this dream match can turn into a watery mess if both aren't grounded. Pisces can sometimes drift into escapism, avoiding hard truths, glossing over issues, or living in a fantasy world. Scorpio, when insecure, can become possessive, suspicious, or emotionally manipulative. If Pisces feels controlled, they may retreat into silence or self-pity. If Scorpio feels abandoned, they may lash out, or worse, shut down entirely. The magic lies in mutual healing. Scorpio helps anchor Pisces, giving structure to their dreams and depth to their emotions. Pisces softens Scorpio's edges, reminding them that love doesn't have to be a battle, it can be a balm. Together, they form an emotional sanctuary, a place where both can be raw, real, and fully themselves. When mature, this match is transcendent. It's the kind of connection that lasts lifetimes. The kind that creates art, music, poetry, and miracles. They can build a world within a world, one filled with trust, empathy, passion, and mutual care. They don't just love each other, they heal each other. This isn't a fling. It's a soul bond. A union that feels destined. And for Scorpio and Pisces, that's exactly what they've been looking for. And that's the full rundown of Scorpio in the bedroom with every sign. Did any combo surprise you? Scorpio might be the most misunderstood sign, but when it comes to sex, they don't just want your body. They want your soul. If you're into Zodiac deep dives like this, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and check out the links in the description for more astrology videos, behind-the-scenes updates, and exclusive bonus content. See you in the next one, where we keep going deeper.